It is May in New Jersey, and that means one thing. It's go time. It's officially time to get our seeds or plants into the ground. I'm Danielle from the Garden Nextdoor. I'm in Zone 7 here in New Jersey, and today I'm going to walk you through exactly what I'm getting planted in my garden this May. What goes in the ground, what's going to get transplanted, and what I'm starting from seed. This video is specific to New Jersey, so if you're in a similar zone, everything's going to apply to you here as well, and that is a Zone 7. So let's go. Now, if you don't know which zone you're in, you can literally just type in your zip code and say what garden zone I am. It will tell you exactly what garden zone you are. And the importance there is knowing when your first and last frost dates are, because that's going to really tell you your planting calendar. So I'm in a 7A here in New Jersey, and my last frost date is around April 1st to April 15th. But I do feel like the end of April, we have a last frosting, if you will. So I always just give it another week or two, but I also start a lot of my seeds directly in the outside. And I'll do this beginning of May. And usually Mother's Day is the day I get everything in the ground, because that is usually a very safe day and I have everything set up for the year. We do want to make sure that we're setting up our garden for success before we're even getting a first plant in. Okay, before I get any plants into my garden beds, I want to make sure that my beds are set up for success. What that means is, first off, I've done everything that I can to make the soil a really great quality soil. You want to make sure when you grab your soil, it creates a nice little firm ball. If it's just disintegrating between your fingers, then you definitely need to add some more compost into there, a higher quality compost, because you don't want it to be too breaking apart that it's not retaining any water, but you also don't want it to stick closely together that it's clay-like. So you want to have a nice variation. So something that's going to let water kind of seep through. So maybe you have some sand mixed in there, and then also a nice texture that it's actually going to retain its shape. Next up, I do like to make sure that there is some type of mulching on my bed. Now, I am actually in like a chipped area, so it's probably hard to see some of this, but I use straw mulching on all of my beds. You can use leaves as well. I've just found that straw is my absolute favorite, and you can get these at a feed store or at a local box store. And you want to make sure that you're getting straw that does not actually have any seeds in it, or else then you're going to basically just be growing grass in your beds. So get a seedless variation here. But what's nice about it is going to, one, trap in a lot more moisture into your beds. So when it does rain, like today, it's actually going to keep moisture on top of the soil and kind of slowly let it go into our soil for those drier days. It's going to really retain that. It's also going to protect our nice black soil here from getting burnt from the sun. So on the really hot summer days, the sun can go in and it can just strip all of the nutrients from your soil. So this is going to lock it in and keep it safe from the sun. So making sure that my beds are set up with a nice mulched layer, I think, is really important, and that they have a good quality soil, because everything's going to start with the soil. And if you have a bad soil that you're working with, then you're just going to be totally off. This year, one of our biggest improvements that we've made is adding watering systems with automatic drip systems into our beds. Setting this up is key to make sure that you're getting your seeds, your starters set up for success before you even put anything in the ground. Okay, but let's talk actual plants that we're getting in the ground. There are really two variations of plants that we're putting in our garden at this time. One, we're doing a direct sow. This is just seed to garden. And the reason that you have some plants that are direct sowing is they really don't like to have a disturbance of their roots. They want to go straight into the ground. These are going to be things like beans, cucumbers, squash, zucchini, and sunflower. And then you have things that you can actually start indoors, and you can start them a little bit earlier. Those are things that we've already started inside in our nice little growing trays and set up in our grow up system. And those are going to be things that you can actually transplant into the ground, or you can actually buy them as a little plant from a nursery. And things like that are going to include tomatoes, peppers, eggplants, basil, and brassicas. These you can start early indoors in February and March. You can harden them off, and then they're ready to get in your garden. What exactly does hardening off mean? So if you've started your plants indoors, they are growing at a nice warm temperature. Now outside, temperatures can still be dropping pretty low. They might not be freezing, but they could be going into the 40s Fahrenheit. So what we want to do is during the day, we put our plants outside. At night, we bring them in. We do that for a few days until they get used to it. They have not been ready. They've not been sitting in direct sunlight. So we like to slowly do this for a couple of days and then we get them into the ground. I like to do it either before a nice rain so that they're getting a nice raining. So take a look, break out your phone, check Google, see what the forecast is going to be for the next 10 days. And if it's not going to get super cold, then go ahead, bring them out. Now, I love to preach that you should only grow things that your family is going to eat. But I'm going to break down my top 5 items that I grow in my garden every single year that have been super successful in the New Jersey 7A zone. So they're probably going to be successful for you too. And let's talk about it. But if you don't like to eat these, do not grow them. Okay. First one is tomatoes, and I love a nice big juicy tomato. Now there are a lot of different types of tomatoes. You can get a small cherry tomato and they come in various different shades. You can get a nice big beefsteak tomato, and then you can also get a San Marzano type of, it's like an ovally shaped tomato. I just go with the beefsteak. I don't do a lot of different heirlooms, and if you're just getting started in gardening, I suggest you just choose one of each as well. If you don't and you just want to use it for sauces, paste, recipes, then just stick with one tomato that you can use in a few versatile ways. When you start to get tripped up is when you're doing too many different variations and it just gets really confusing and overwhelming. So start with one, start with 2 different types, and then if it's successful, then add more plants on top. Another diehard plant that I absolutely love is zucchini. Now, they say if you can grow zucchini, then you're going to grow zucchinis for the entire town, your entire neighborhood, and that is so, so true. I go way too aggressively on zucchinis. I think last year I did 10 plants, and the amount of zucchinis I had was insanity. They're one of the easiest plants to grow. Sometimes you can get different types of insects. The vine burrow will go into it and it can ruin a little bit. You can get different things if there's too much rain or too much wet season. But honestly, the different things that can attack it, I've still gotten an insane amount of zucchini with a little bit of work. So if you like zucchini, I highly, highly, highly suggest, and I'll put down my favorite variety in the show notes so you can link to it. But really, really easy to grow. We'll talk about it as we go through this growing season if you want to learn more, but I highly, highly suggest. Another plant that I love growing in this zone is peppers. Now, peppers, I will put them in as seeds, but they take a pretty long time. So I do like to get those start them as starters or get them from the nursery. And there's so much different varieties and you don't need a lot of them. Now, we love to do banana peppers. So I'll do banana peppers. We love shishito peppers. If you have not tried a shishito pepper, go to your local bar restaurant. They probably will have them as an app dish. So good. You just fry it up, you make a nice little sauce. One of our favorite types of peppers. You're going to get so much throughout the year. And then you can do fun ones. You can do nice spicy peppers. If you like a spice or a jalapeno, you can do colorful carnival blends. There's so many different varieties. They're so versatile in the kitchen and they're very easy to grow. You can also, at the end of the year, dig up the plant, or if you put them in pots, you can take them, store them in a garage, a shed, anything like that, and then bring them out the next year. They can last a couple years, so they can get a nice mature plant going. Another plant that I love to get in the ground early in the season, and I'll do a direct sow of this, is different types of leafy greens. We'll do kales, romaine, arugula, spinach. If you like a good salad or you like to saute up some veggies, first thing in the season in May, they like a nice colder temperature, so they're not really going to thrive in the warm July, August temperatures in zone A, but this time they're going to do really great. They're a nice cover crop on the ground. They don't take up much room. So as we think about companion planting, you can kind of put it on the sides, on the bottom, the nice shaded areas, and you'll get a really nice selection. Now, I actually did direct sow these in mid-April, and I already have some down here. You can see I have some started over here. So really, really excited. They're a really easy one to get, and I just direct sow them. I do kind of like an erratic spraying of them. I'll honestly just mix like a bunch of seeds together and then just put them everywhere. love. Next up, let's talk about some of our climbers. Now, a few plants that I like to get in that are going to be nice climbing plants, and we use this flimsy kind of netting. I love to get in cucumbers. Now, you could do pickling cucumbers or a normal like munchier cucumber. I usually try to do one just like a more munchier cucumber, and then I will pickle them. But there are some that are specific to pickling. But if you just want to go simple, just get one type of cucumber that you can eat, you can snack on, and then you could also pickle if you wanted to. Now, the one thing about growing pickles that I've seen is we do get a lot of insects that are attracted to them. So there are a few things that you can do here, and that is planting different types of herbs around them to deter them. We plant a lot of onions right by them, which the scent does scare off a lot of the insects, although it is not always a winning strategy. And another great thing that we do that is a nice vine climber, especially in the May season, are going to be my sugar snap peas and beans. These I will actually direct sow into the ground oftentimes. Sugar snap peas are amazing because you just pop them off as you're walking in the garden. They're so tasty, so delicious, and I've never had a problem with them. I've never gotten diseases. I've never gotten any rot in them, and they're just, I've always had so much success. So I completely suggest that you do that. Now, one thing that I absolutely love about gardening is that you can do some plants like asparagus that come for years, and these can come out for 10, 20 years. Now, if you're thinking about doing a more of a food forest and really forward thinking in your garden, some things that you want to get in now that are going to be beneficial for years to come are our beautiful asparagus. Now, it does take around 3 years to actually get your first asparagus that you can eat. So it's going to be a little bit of a wait for that one, but a really great one. The next one here is a nice strawberry bush. Now, these, you will actually get strawberries your first year, and they usually last around 3 years that you get strawberries. Anywhere that there's a flower is where you're going to get a nice strawberry this year. And we've found that our strawberry bushes are so happy and give us so many strawberries every single year. And our last plants are berry bushes. We have so many beautiful berry bushes. We put them in these nice steel garden beds. I love a raised metal garden bed. We have some from Veggio that I absolutely love, and I will link down below. And they're a really great way to contain your berries because they get pretty wild. We have blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, white raspberries, and they come back year and year. They grow, they thrive, and they create more of a food forest. So if you're wondering what to plant in May, I hope this helps. We'll see you every month with our planting guide. And if you're looking for a more specific written down guide, I do have a full spring planting guide. I'll link down below. It's only $12. So grab it now. It might actually be on sale. And see you guys next time. Bye.